thank you so much for this right now.
Not a problem. So you're just wanting me to go through how we do our teams, is that right?
Yeah, like how you utilize Planner and in order, since I have an assistant, I want to kind of go in there and you guys, how you have it dialed in is like night and day difference of how I'm trying to dial it in and maybe explain it. Alicia, this is Heather, Alicia.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Alicia, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
How are you? Good. Okay, so can you guys see
Yeah.
can you see the screen I shared?
Yes.
Okay. So, so do you guys have a planner set up yet? Have you started a planner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you will have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so kind of what we had shared with Jimmy before and what we do in our office, and I know Jeremy is doing at his office, is we have just set up, we use our planner mostly just as a way to keep track of everything we're doing and to keep household notes. That's a little bit easier because I know you can do all of that. You know, you guys might want to decide maybe you'd rather do it in Navigator because you can take care of all of that in Navigator as well. It's just sometimes we put in more notes than I want everybody to see because all the notes that you put in Navigator, everybody's going to see.
Right.
So sometimes we don't want, you know, we don't think it's necessary that everybody knows all the notes we're doing, but what we do is like anytime we get a prospect or a quote for a new prospect, we go ahead and set up a new task for them. And so we put in their name and then we put in the date and then who talked to them. So like in this case, Matt's the one who talked to him because these are his initials and we always initial everything so that we know who is responsible for it, who, you know, who's keeping track of it.
Mm-hmm.
We generally put the date that it started and then the date we want to check back because the due date, when you put a due date, it'll come back to your email so that you have an opportunity to remember, oh, that's right, I have to take care of these things. Or you can always sort and filter later. So I always say, unless it's something that's already been completed or you don't need to take care of again, always put a due date in because it's just one more reminder. If you're, you know, because as you get busier and get bigger and your book gets bigger, you're gonna have more and more things. You're gonna have multiple tasks a day that you have to keep remembering to go back to. So this is an easy way that our office does that. And then we have little tags that we keep for everything. So like we have live billing. So like in this case, we know it's a new prospect, it's for home and it's for auto. And it's just a quick way for us. I mean, definitely don't have to use the tags. It might be a bit overkill. I know like Jeremy thinks that's a bit overkill, but it's kind of a quick way for us to go through and just see quickly as you scan down, just a little more of that. And then we put notes in here about what they called about, what they're looking for, anything that we think might be pertinent. So we do that for every household. We keep it after they've gone through the quote process. Like if Susan Mayer decides she wants to do an auto and a home with us, eventually if she ever makes a change on her auto, it would just go in the auto bucket, or for the home, it would just go in the home bucket. We do keep the households separate. So like I don't make all the notes for home on the auto bucket or auto on the home bucket. We try to keep it a little bit separate. So like for these guys, for the Evans, this is just their auto information. So anytime we make a change or they call out something for auto, we would keep continuously adding to it. Let's see if I've got some down here that have a few.
So you would never add a tag into the home section with the auto? You would just make a new tag in the auto or a new section in the home?
Yep, exactly. Just because they're so different that we used to do that in the past, but then we started getting really confused and it was hard to keep track. So like if I look on this one, in October, she called about an auto. In November, she called about an auto. So that way, if ever there's anything, she'll be like, hey, you know, I called in October to have this done on my vehicle. It's really easy for us to go back and look. But if you have your auto and home all mixed together, it's just a little bit more messy to go through.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we try to keep everything completely separate. Right now, we're also working on a roof year schedule. So anytime we're doing a project, we go ahead and add another bucket for it. We're trying to reach out to all of our clients to make sure we have the roof years correct, just so that they're getting the correct replacement cost on it. If there's a claim, we also keep a bucket for farms. I don't know if you have farms. We keep a separate bucket for commercial. So like some of these guys also have homes and autos with us. They're in commercial, but we keep their business separate. We have one for umbrellas, one for our life policies, one for our lapse listings. Now the lapse and pre-lapse, I put everything in there, so that's everything that they have or might have had lapse on or that I have to follow on. I've got some that I call often. So like this one, I've called her about her business mostly. But I just put all of the lapse listing because I don't know if you're gonna have that many lapse listings. We just have a really large book, and because of the area that we service, we do have a lot of lapse or pre-lapse.
Right.
So we have to call on those daily. I call on them daily, and so I keep track of all of those. So anytime I've called on a past due or a pre-lapse, I don't put it in their auto policy or their home policy. I just keep a separate tab for it. But you know, you guys have to figure out what works best for you. We have kind of a few miscellaneous ones that don't really fit into anything, but there's stuff that we want to keep track of. So if our miscellaneous or the follow-ups, if there's specific things we feel like we need to follow up on that are reoccurring. And then from the very beginning, all of these over here, these prospects and quotes, since they are mixed with home and auto information, if we do end up writing them, we move them over to our converted quotes. And then we just know that those are ones that did finally convert, and then we just move them along. If we have assigned clients that we're trying to keep track of, we put them in our assigned ones, and then cancel policies. I try to remember as people cancel to just dump that information over here so that if we have any hard files left, I don't even know if you guys have hard files if you inherited files, but if you did, you want to keep track of that so you don't keep all that paper forever, which is what we kind of do. And then as we go through these, if we've completed tasks so that they don't just stay open forever, like Novelli's, we helped them in October. And probably when Taryn was working on this, she probably set a start date and an end date. Well, then when it ended, she just hit complete. So it's still in here if we ever need it. And if like we need to add something to it, all we have to do is just open it back up and, you know, it's in progress, and then we can just add more information.
Okay.
So we really just use for us, Teams is because there's multiples of us.
Mhm.
That way we always know what each other is working on, so that if the client calls, anybody can help and they can look up the notes. Or if it's something from the past, it's real easy for us to go back. So it's kind of sometimes the CYA, you know, they're like, I called and told you I only wanted liability on that vehicle. And I'm like, no, you didn't. And it's really nice if we have the notes. We're like, yeah, we see that you called in on the 15th of April. And we went over it, because you would have the notes in there. We went over it that you did want to keep full coverage because it wasn't that much more per month, you know. And then they might be like, oh, yeah, that's right. You know, or maybe they really did ask you to take full coverage off and you hadn't done it.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can get underwriting to go back and help you. You're like, yeah, I have notes on this. I was supposed to have done that. I didn't do that. So we use it for both. We use it to just make sure that we've got taken care of the clients properly. And then we use it definitely as something to help us keep track of every week, because like I'll have my email, if I can get my email opened up. There we go. I don't know if you guys have been using your planner, but I did have, this is telling me all the tasks that I'm supposed to be working on today. So it's a really good reminder for me. If I don't want to do the sort filter, I get a daily email from Microsoft saying, you were supposed to take care of these things. You know, these ones are late, these ones are due today. So that's kind of a nice way to keep track of it too. Like I get the email reminder, or I can go in and filter it, you know, up here by anything that's late. Or due today, that's my project. And then I can just go back through all of these. And it's got all my name on it, and these are all the things I'm supposed to be taking care of.
Okay.
Does that, I know I talked probably too fast, but.
No, that makes total sense. Yeah.
I was very disorganized. I had multiple things. And I think that's what I was getting lost in there. I wasn't separating. I was having auto, home, umbrella, but like to separate the panels in there. Thank you very much for that, Heather.
Yeah.
Go ahead and copy and paste. So like if you already have that set up and you're like, you know what, I have, you know, extra time, or Alicia has extra time today, I want you to go through and split all these out. guys can definitely do that, like you can copy and paste and then cut, you know, so that you don't have to keep it open, that way it's not like you're stuck forever. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so you just have to figure out like what buckets work really well for you. Like when we were doing the old AMP, I'm sure you got the email today, but everybody was getting dropped off AMP and going to auto pay when Rachel and I were doing that last spring. Then we kept track of that, just like we did the roof one. And so as we don't need these things, then we just can move them to the end because you can pick them up and you can move them. So they're not stuck in place.
Okay,
So you can move stuff around if you need to in the order that it works best for you.
okay.
And I know we're trying to do this same thing with Jeremy's office, and I've been teaching his assistant Juniper the same thing to try. But it's only as good as you are about taking notes, do you know what I mean? So
Right.
what we try to do is as soon as we've done a task, or like for me, when somebody calls, as soon as they call in, I look up to see if they're already in here in the notes while I'm also opening up on Navigator, opening up their file. And then that way they start to tell me what's going on. I can take the notes right there, or if I take it on paper, then I go back and put it in here. That's kind of how we work with it.
So in
So-
Planner,
Uh,
it's office
Office.
only, right? Like
Right.
country's not gonna go in and be able to see these necessarily.
Exactly. So up here, it'll say that it's a private site.
Uh-huh.
So you want to make sure that yours is a private site. And then ours has the 6 members. So it's Andy, and then the 5 people who work for him are the members of this. And it's a little easier to navigate through your teams. I don't know if I can do it while I'm talking to you. But it's a little bit easier to navigate through your here it is. Like through this. You can
Yeah.
also go into your little people here, your little teams. And then that's where you can find
People.
the private site and how to do the settings. And Jimmy's probably the administrator on it.
Yeah.
So if he wanted you to be administrator on it, I think he has to assign you to that.
Okay. Cause I mean, like, I wanna put stuff in Navigator that I want customer service to be able to see if the customer calls customer service, but then sometimes you don't necessarily want them to know everything.
Right, because sometimes we might have written something in our notes, this guy can be, you know,
Difficult.
a little difficult at times for it. You know, so we kind of keep that, or sometimes it's just really wordy, and I know that in Navigator, they really like, because it's storage and space, they really like all your notes in Navigator. And you'll see that like with customer service, how much abbreviation they do,
Yeah.
because they want it to be kept to a minimum. So like we definitely we mostly use Navigator notes for our cars when we've set cars, set those appointments. We keep the rest of our notes in this one primarily.
Okay.
Okay. But it is nice, you know, it's always nice if they're in Navigator, and especially like when we've inherited clans, it's super nice, because then I'm like, oh, I can see what your history with the clan
Yeah.
is, so it makes it a little easier.
Okay. Yeah, I like this. This makes sense to me.
I was almost there, Heather. I was trying to
You
be like
was.
you.
Yeah.
If you want organized chaos, look at my plan.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Oh my goodness. See, I just needed to clone you. All of you, your team, Heather. You've been marked.
No, you've got, it sounds like, so Alicia, do you work full-time, part-time?
I'm part-time, but I can work for Austin.
Oh, you know how to do it all then.
Yeah, I work for Austin, well, not all, because, you know, they changed things. I worked for him during COVID,
Okay,
and
Well, that's
then,
good. So you're
yeah,
familiar with all of it then.
yeah, I got sick and had to leave, and then Jimmy convinced me to come back. We're working on getting relicensed, because we made errors in our judgment.
Oh,
I let it lapse, so.
yeah, well, it'll be easier the second time.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, so that's what we've been doing, so was there anything else you needed from me, or did you have any questions, or?
I think, I mean, it makes sense to me, I like it, so I'm good, I don't know about Jimmy.
Okay,
No, I just need to clone your team, Heather. And then I'm set. That's how do I do that? No, I appreciate that so much and you giving this last minute, just helping me out is night and day difference and trying to explain it in the way that you just did. So I'm going to say ditto what everything that Heather said, Alicia. No.
Perfect.
Well, good luck, you guys. I hope it goes well for you.